Your bag is coming out.
Leave it where it is.
You're leaving this cabin.
His ticket cleared.
Stay out of this.
Why are you touching my property?
Because you are done here.
My name matches seat 1A. That seat is no longer yours.
The pass says otherwise. The pass does not control this cabin.
Then scan it again. She already did.
Nobody asked you.
Look at the ticket. There's the problem.
What's the problem?
He refuses instructions. I refuse to surrender a valid seat.
Let me see the pass. It's scanned green.
It's scanned green.
I didn't ask you. This cabin isn't for you.
My ticket says it is. Take the bag and move.
Stop recording.
One more word and this becomes non-compliance. Then write every word accurately.
Keep resisting and this follows your record.
My conduct has not changed.
Your cooperation has.
Because your request became an order.
You are delaying everyone. Your refusal to verify me is delaying everyone.
Move now. Read the ticket first.
I saw the green scan.
I recorded the first request. Put the phones down.
No.
This is an operational matter. Then operate by the rules. The $5.2 billion signing is ready. Stop it. All of it? Freeze the deal. Preserve every timestamp. What deal? Who are you? The man whose ticket you refused to read. The freeze is active. Wait.
They had already pulled his suitcase from the overhead bin when the lead attendant pointed toward the jet bridge. "This cabin isn't for you," she said, loud enough for every first-class passenger to hear. His boarding pass was valid. His name matched the seat. So why did the manager refuse to look at either? Why did a quiet man in a faded navy sweater suddenly threaten a deal worth $5.2 billion? And what was hidden inside the worn leather case he never let go? Minutes later, one calm phone call would turn the entire airport silent. But the cost of that call had begun long before he boarded. Stay to the end, because the truth behind seat 1A changes everyone who watched. The phone vibrated once against Isaiah Bennett's palm. Rain struck the jet bridge glass in metallic taps. The aircraft door stood 6 feet behind Celeste Rowan, and she held one arm across it. "Sir, this is your final instruction," she said. "Leave the restricted area." Isaiah glanced at the suitcase Mark Delaney had set by the wall. One wheel still turned. "My boarding pass cleared." "Your access was revoked," Mark said. "After I boarded. Because you refused a crew directive. I refused to surrender a confirmed seat." Celeste's mouth tightened. "You're delaying everyone?" An older man in a gray jacket stood half out of his seat. "He didn't delay anything. You did." "Remain seated," Celeste snapped. Mark stepped closer. "Keep challenging staff, and I'll document this as non-compliance. That follows you." Isaiah looked at the green boarding pass. "Document the scanner result, too." "That result is no longer relevant." Near the galley, a young attendant shifted her weight. Her nameplate read, Lena Ortiz. "The system still shows him boarded," she said. Celeste turned. "Secure the cabin. Now." The curtain rasped shut. Isaiah lifted his suitcase upright. The fabric was cool and damp where it had dragged across the floor. He placed his worn leather briefcase on top, careful of the velvet box inside. Mark tapped his tablet. "Confirm that you're leaving voluntarily." "No." Mark looked up. "I'm leaving because you removed me," Isaiah said. "Write that accurately." Several phones were raised. "Recording crew isn't permitted," Celeste said. "It is from my seat," the woman replied. Mark's jaw shifted. "Close the door." The aircraft door moved inward with a hollow sigh. The jet bridge seemed colder. Isaiah watched the gap narrow until seat 1A disappeared. His phone vibrated again. He answered. "Mara." A woman's voice came through beneath the static. "They're waiting for your authorization. The final signature window closes in 23 minutes. Mark's eyes flicked toward him. Isaiah turned toward the rain-streaked glass. "Stop the signing." A pause. "All of it?" "All of it." Celeste gave a short breath. "You're making a contract call now." Isaiah ignored her. Mara's tone sharpened. "Notify their board?" "Not yet. Freeze the release, preserve every timestamp, and send the gate log request." "Reason?" He looked at Mark, then at the sealed door. "Passenger verification failure," he said. Possible record alteration. Mark lowered the tablet. Who exactly are you talking to? Isaiah ended the call. Someone who reads documents before changing them. Nobody moved. Rain hammered the glass. Below, a baggage cart beeped in reverse. Then the door lock engaged with a heavy click. Mark seized the suitcase handle. Customer service will rebook you tomorrow. I need Chicago tonight. That's no longer our problem. Isaiah took the suitcase back without pulling. It became your problem when you chose not to verify me. Celeste stepped toward the aircraft. We're done here. Isaiah looked at runway lights dissolving in rain. In his pocket, the phone began vibrating a third time. This time, the caller was his daughter. 3 hours earlier, the same name had glowed across Isaiah's kitchen counter while he folded a dark shirt into a carry-on. Tell me you're already leaving, Amara said. I'm putting on my shoes. You said that 12 minutes ago. Rain ticked against the windows. Isaiah trapped the phone between shoulder and ear and reached for the blue velvet box. Its corners had worn pale. I'll be at the rehearsal before 7. That's what you said at my college dinner. He stopped with one shoe unlaced. And at Mom's memorial meeting, she added. Isaiah rested both hands on the counter. The stone felt cold through his palms. I remember. That's the problem. You remember after. He opened the box. A pearl hair comb caught the light. Evelyn had worn it on their wedding day. For 21 years, it had stayed wrapped in tissue at the back of a drawer. Amara heard the hinge. Is that it? Yes. Don't check it. I'm carrying it. And don't hand it to an assistant. I'm traveling alone. A pause. No driver? No security? No. Dad, you're flying into a deal meeting. I'm flying to see you. He touched one pearl with his thumb. It was colder than he expected. Voices moved behind Amara, chairs scraping over wood. I need you to hear me before someone walks in. I'm listening. I don't care about the car, the suite, or who knows your name. I need you in the room when we start. Isaiah closed the box but kept his hand over it. I'll be there. Say it without checking the time. His eyes had already found the microwave clock. 3:42 p.m. I'll be there. Then she said, Mom always believed you meant it. The sentence came softly. Isaiah removed his tie and changed into a faded navy cashmere sweater. He packed the suit, reconsidered, and left it hanging on the bedroom door. The Chicago meeting could wait until morning. The rehearsal could not. You still there? He asked. I'm deciding whether to believe you. What would help? Walk through the door before I have to ask where you are. He slipped the velvet box into his worn leather briefcase. Beneath it lay a thin folder marked Orion Vantage, Final Terms. He turned the folder face down. I'm leaving now. Send me a picture from the gate. I will. And Dad? Yes? Don't let work become the emergency this time. The call ended. Isaiah kept the phone at his ear until the screen went dark. At 4:08, he carried his own bag through the lobby. The doorman reached for it, but Isaiah shook his head. I've got it, Leon. Outside, wet pavement smelled sharp beneath the exhaust. A sedan waited at the curb. Isaiah placed the briefcase on his lap instead of in the trunk. During the drive, 3 messages appeared from Mara Ellis. Board packet ready. Signature window, 7:30. Need final approval. He muted the thread. Port Ellis. International glowed under fluorescent light. Suitcase wheels rattled over tile. Coffee and cinnamon drifted from the concourse. Isaiah moved without an entourage, one hand on his bag and the other over the briefcase clasp whenever the crowd pressed close. At gate 18, A young agent scanned his paper pass. The machine chimed. A green bar spread across the screen beside one clear line. Bennett, Isaiah. Seat 1A. The green bar held for 2 seconds before the gate screen cleared. Seat 1A, the young agent said. You're all set, Mr. Bennett. Isaiah folded the paper pass along its crease. Behind him, the line shifted with luggage wheels. A coffee grinder screamed across the concourse, then stopped. The air smelled of roasted beans, wet wool, and rain carried in on coats. A woman in a charcoal uniform stepped beside the scanner. Her nameplate read, Lena Ortiz. She looked 29, with dark hair pinned at her neck. Final call for priority boarding, she said, then glanced at the screen. 1 moment, sir. The senior attendant approaching from the jet bridge heard her. Celeste Rowan walked briskly, silver scarf knotted tight at her throat. There's a service note attached, Lena said. It may be from corporate. Celeste checked the line instead of the screen. Is the seat valid? Yes. Then board him. We're 6 minutes behind. Lena touched the note icon, but Celeste closed the window with 2 fingers. Cabin first, she said. Messages later. Isaiah noticed. Is there a problem? No problem at all, Celeste replied. Welcome aboard. The jet bridge was warmer than the terminal. Rain drummed against its roof, and the floor flexed beneath each step. Halfway down, an older white man in a gray sport coat adjusted a canvas bag. You take the window? He asked. Looks that way. Daniel Price, 63, retired teacher. Still introduce myself like the first day of class. Isaiah Bennett. At the aircraft door, Lena accepted Isaiah's pass and checked it again. 1A, she said quietly. Celeste heard. He knows where he's sitting. Inside, amber lights reflected off polished trim. Isaiah placed the briefcase beneath the seat ahead and lifted his suitcase toward the overhead bin. The angle caught his shoulder. Let me, Daniel said. I've got it. Humor an old man trying to feel useful. Together they raised the case. Daniel's eyes dropped to the pass. Front row, he said. Best place to leave on time. That's the plan. His phone buzzed. Amara had sent one message. Gate picture. Isaiah angled the camera toward the seat marker and sent the photograph. I'll believe it when you walk in. He slid the phone away. Across the aisle, Daniel fastened his belt. Family? My daughter. Important trip? Yes. Daniel watched Isaiah set the worn briefcase between his shoes. Then don't let anyone make you late. A man in a cream overcoat entered, speaking into a headset. He stopped beside 2C, pressed the recline button twice, then waved for Celeste. This is broken. Celeste tested it. The seat moved an inch and stopped. I was promised a functioning suite, he said. Graham Voss, 50. Corporate consultant. Check my profile. I'm sure we can resolve it. Graham scanned the cabin. His attention settled on Isaiah in 1A. That one appears fine. Celeste followed his gaze. For the first time since boarding, she looked at Isaiah not as a seated passenger, but as a problem she had not yet decided how to name. Near the galley, Lena reopened the hidden note. Her eyebrows lifted before Celeste called sharply. Lena, close the door record. Lena hesitated. Then the screen went dark. Mr. Bennett, may I speak with you? Celeste stood beside 1A with a tablet against her ribs. The open cabin door spilled cold air across Isaiah's shoes. Rain rattled above the fuselage, and in the galley, a plastic cup clicked with melting ice. You're speaking to me now, Isaiah said. We have a seating issue. Mr. Voss's suite is not operating correctly. Graham leaned into the aisle. It won't recline. I have a presentation in Chicago at 8. Isaiah glanced at the seat controls beside his hand. Then maintenance should inspect it. We don't have time, Celeste said. We can offer you a travel credit and another seat in the main cabin. My ticket is for this seat. This would be voluntary. Then I decline. The cup in the galley stopped clicking. Daniel Price turned his head. Across the aisle, 2 passengers lowered their phones without putting them away. Warm air from the overhead vent carried coffee and citrus cleaner. Graham removed his headset. I fly this route every week. I'm flying it tonight. Celeste moved closer, narrowing the space between Isaiah's knees and the bulkhead. Mr. Voss has priority status. Does priority cancel a confirmed reservation? It allows us flexibility. For both passengers? Her jaw tightened. You would still arrive in Chicago. My daughter is expecting me before 7. Graham checked his watch. We're all expected somewhere. Daniel unfastened his belt. Give him your seat, then. That is not an appropriate solution, Celeste said. It's the solution you're asking from him. Several faces turned. Daniel sat back, but his hands stayed flat on his knees. Celeste lowered her voice. Mr. Bennett, I'm trying to keep this from becoming uncomfortable. Isaiah looked at the seat number above his shoulder. It became uncomfortable when you asked only me to move. Lena stood near the galley screen, one finger over the hidden note icon. Celeste, the service message may explain. Not now. It's attached to his record. I said not now. Graham pulled his cream overcoat from the seat back. Can someone decide? Celeste tapped her tablet. I can authorize $1,200 in credit. No. $1,500. No. A complimentary hotel if you miss your connection. I have no connection. Then help us depart on schedule. Isaiah placed the boarding pass on the armrest. Read the name. Read the seat. Apply the same rule you would apply if I were wearing his coat. The nearest passenger inhaled. Graham's face hardened. This has nothing to do with clothing, Celeste said. Good. Then the ticket should settle it. For several seconds, only rain and the low engine hum filled the cabin. Condensation slid down the untouched cup and darkened the napkin beneath it. Celeste picked up the pass. She did not read it. Instead, she looked toward the jet bridge and raised 2 fingers. A stocky man in a Navy station jacket appeared at the doorway, tablet in hand. Mark, she called, loud enough for 3 rows to hear. I need assistance with a passenger refusing crew instructions. Lena's finger fell from the screen. Isaiah watched the green note icon vanish as the man stepped aboard. Mark Delaney stepped through the aircraft door and stopped beside Celeste. What's the issue? He won't follow a crew instruction, she said. Isaiah remained seated. The instruction was to give my confirmed seat to another passenger. Mark looked at Graham's cream overcoat, then at Isaiah's faded sweater. His eyes stayed there a moment too long. Sir, may I see your boarding pass? Isaiah handed it over. Mark scanned the paper. The device flashed green. Seat 1A, Lena said from the galley. Mark turned the screen away. The reservation may have been issued in error. The scanner flashed green again as it refreshed. My seat is not confirmed? Isaiah asked. That is correct. Passengers shifted. Leather creaked. A phone alarm chimed behind row 4 and was quickly silenced. The cabin smelled of warm coffee, rain-damp coats, and citrus cleaner. Daniel leaned into the aisle. Your machine disagrees with you. Sir, remain seated, Mark said. I am seated. Mark ignored him and tapped through Isaiah's record. How did you purchase this ticket? With a payment card. Did someone upgrade you? No. Employee voucher? No. Graham sighed. Can we stop pretending this is complicated? Isaiah looked at him. It became complicated when the rules changed after I sat down. Celeste folded her arms. No one changed a rule. Then show me the rule that removes a verified passenger for someone with a broken recliner. Mark's thumb paused over the tablet. Lena stepped closer. There's a corporate service note, she said. It was visible at the gate. Celeste cut in. The note is unrelated. You didn't open it. I know the categories. Lena's cheeks flushed. This one had executive routing. Mark gave her a flat look. Return to your station. She did not move. Now, Lena. The word landed harder than a shout. She backed into the galley but left the screen awake. Mark handed Isaiah's pass back without meeting his eyes. We can place you in 3-4E and provide compensation. No. Then you are refusing accommodation. I am refusing displacement. Celeste glanced toward the open door. We need to close. Mark lowered his voice. Mr. Bennett, if you continue, this becomes a conduct matter. Isaiah folded the pass along its old crease. My conduct has not changed. Your cooperation has, because your request became an order. Across the aisle, a woman with dark curls raised her phone. Mark noticed. Recording staff is prohibited. My camera is on him, she said. He hasn't raised his voice once. Daniel pointed toward the scanner. Check it again in front of everyone. This is not a public hearing. No, Isaiah said. It is a seat assignment. Cold air moved through the doorway and lifted the edge of the pass on Isaiah's knee. Mark tapped the device one more time. Green. Lena saw it. So did Daniel. So did the woman recording. Mark locked the screen. This passenger is disrupting departure, he said. Remove his bag. The overhead latch snapped open behind Isaiah. Celeste reached upward, and the suitcase shifted towards the aisle. Lena took one step forward. Mark, the record still shows boarded. He looked at her nameplate before answering. Not for long. The overhead suitcase slid toward Celeste's hands. Leave it, Isaiah said. She tugged once. The case caught on the bin lip, then dropped hard enough to shake the row. A blue velvet box slipped from the briefcase beneath his feet, struck the seat support, and sprang apart. One pearl tapped against the floor. No one spoke. Isaiah bent into the aisle. Cold air reached under his sweater. Phones hovered above seatbacks. Daniel Price rose halfway, but Mark lifted a palm. Stay where you are. He dropped something, Daniel said. I can see that. Isaiah picked up the comb. One tooth had snagged a gray thread from the carpet. He brushed it free, then returned the pearls to the box. The woman recording leaned forward. I have the whole thing. Celeste faced her. Turn that off. My name is Priya Nair, she said. I'm an attorney in 2D. He has done nothing except ask you to honor his ticket. This is an operational matter. It became a witness matter when you changed the reason for removing him. Mark's jaw tightened. You are interfering with crew duties. No, I'm documenting them. Isaiah closed the box. The hinge clicked once. Daniel stepped into the aisle. Take my seat. Put me in the back. Celeste shook her head. Sit down. Your problem is one broken recliner. I'm offering a solution. Return to your assigned seat. So his seat matters, but Mr. Bennett's doesn't? Several passengers looked away. One man folded his newspaper. Another stared at the rain-dark window. Mark reached for Isaiah's suitcase. We are done discussing this. Isaiah stood and moved aside rather than crowd him. Do not describe this as voluntary. You're being removed for refusing instructions. Then write which instruction. Mark pulled the suitcase into the aisle. Failure to cooperate. With what? Celeste answered. A necessary reassignment. Necessary for safety? For departure. Priya's phone remained steady. You offered him money before calling it an order. Celeste's eyes flicked toward the camera. Stop recording. No. Lena stood frozen by the galley screen, fingers pressed to the counter. Isaiah met her eyes for a second. She looked down. He placed the velvet box deep inside the briefcase and snapped both clasps shut. Mark gestured toward the door. Move! Isaiah stepped into the aisle. The cabin narrowed into lowered eyes and the soft chime asking passengers to fasten their belts. He passed Daniel, who stopped before touching his arm. I'm sorry, the older man whispered. Isaiah paused. You offered your seat. It wasn't enough. No, but it mattered. At the doorway, Priya called, Mr. Bennett, I'll send you the video. Celeste turned. Do not exchange information during removal. Priya raised her boarding pass. Then put that in your report too. Isaiah gave her his number while Mark repeated, Keep moving. The jet bridge felt hollow after the cabin. Rain hammered the roof. Behind him, the aircraft door remained open long enough for Daniel's voice to carry through. Everyone saw it. Celeste pulled the door inward. Before it sealed, Isaiah glanced back. Lena stood beside the darkened screen, one hand closed around a narrow printed strip. The door shut between them. The service room door closed with a rubber thud. Mark placed Isaiah's suitcase beside a metal desk. Sit down. Isaiah remained standing. Fluorescent light flattened the gray walls and plastic chair. A vent breathed cold air across his wrists. I'll stand. Mark opened a form on his tablet. Passenger declined reassignment, delayed departure, and failed to comply with crew direction. That is not what happened. It is what will be recorded. Isaiah set the leather briefcase on the desk. Then record that my ticket scanned green 3 times. Mark's thumb stopped. The door opened, and a customer service employee entered with a portable printer. He was 33, lean, with tired eyes behind square glasses. His badge read, Noah Bell. You asked for a rebooking packet, Noah said. Tomorrow morning, Mark replied. I need Chicago tonight, Isaiah said. There's another flight at 9:40. Do not place him on it. His status is under review. Noah checked the screen. It still shows him checked in for 1A. Cancel it. The printer whirred. Warm toner briefly covered the smell of stale coffee. Isaiah displayed his electronic receipt. Paid in full. Purchased 11 days ago. Mark did not look. Isaiah placed his license beside it, then an executive office letter. This confirms a meeting with your leadership tomorrow. Mark pushed it back with one finger. Anyone can make a letterhead. Call the number. I'm not validating private business claims. You are invalidating public travel documents. Noah's eyes dropped. Mark tapped the screen. Isaiah's phone updated at once. Reservation canceled. Behind the wall, an announcement began. Gate 18 is now closed for Flight 742 to Chicago. The plastic chair scraped as Isaiah finally sat. Cold passed through his sweater. He folded the letter exactly along the center. Noah held out the rebooking slip, but Mark took it first. Baggage goes tomorrow, Mark said. The bag is here. Mark frowned. Then it remains with you. Isaiah looked at him. You did not know where my property was, but you were ready to send it away. Noah switched off the printer. The vent sounded louder. A notification lit Isaiah's screen. Priya Nair had sent a video with one line. I recorded from the first request. Mark saw the preview. Delete it. No. You're making this worse. For whom? Noah shifted toward the door. Mark spoke without looking at him. "You did not hear this conversation." Noah's fingers tightened around the printer handle. "I heard the scanner confirm him," he said, "and Ms. Ortiz said the record was valid." Mark slowly turned. "You want your name in the report?" Noah swallowed. "No, sir." "Then leave." He stepped out, but before the door shut, he looked back at Isaiah and touched 2 fingers to the pocket holding his phone. Mark resumed typing. "Reason for removal. Hostile refusal." Isaiah rose. "Remove the word hostile. You don't dictate my report. No, the recording will." For the first time, Mark looked toward the ceiling camera. Its red indicator was glowing. He reached for the wall switch, but the light stayed on. Beyond the room, the aircraft engines deepened, and Isaiah's canceled flight began to move. The engine note deepened beyond the wall, then rolled away. Isaiah left the service room before Mark could stop him. Through the rain-striped glass, the aircraft pushed back from Gate 18, its lights smearing across wet pavement. A baggage cart beeped below. His phone rang. "Amara," he answered before the second vibration. "I'm here." Music and overlapping voices filled the line. Chairs scraped over wood. "You're at the airport?" she asked. "Yes." "Boarding?" Isaiah watched the plane turn toward the taxiway. "No." The laughter behind her faded as a door closed. "What happened?" "There was a problem with the seat." "What kind?" "They removed me from the flight." Amara said nothing. Rainwater crawled down the glass between his reflection and the moving aircraft. Blue taxi lights blinked beneath it. "Are you hurt?" she asked. "No." "Can you get another flight?" "I'm trying." "You said you were already on board." "I was." "And now?" "The next confirmed option is tomorrow morning." Someone called through her phone. "Amara, we're ready." She covered the microphone, but he heard her answer. 1 minute. Isaiah opened the briefcase on an empty terminal seat. The leather creaked. He took out the velvet box and pressed his thumb to the lid. "Start without me," he said. "We already waited 20 minutes. I'm sorry. That is not the same as being here." He opened the box. The pearl comb lay crooked against the blue lining. It tapped softly against the velvet. "I brought your mother's comb." Amara drew in a breath. "I was going to give it to you before the rehearsal," he said. "I still will." "When?" "Tomorrow. You always move the important thing to tomorrow." Her voice was low, nearly lost beneath the room behind her. Isaiah looked at the comb. One pearl held the fluorescent light like a small moon. "This wasn't work," he said. "No, Dad. Work is the reason I understand. Tonight, I don't even have that." He heard fabric brush the phone as she walked. "Tell me where you are." "Gate 18. "Alone?" "Yes." "Then why does it still feel like you chose somewhere else?" His fingers closed around the box. The clasp would not catch. He tried again. Mark's voice carried from the service room. "Mr. Bennett, customer service is not finished with you." Amara heard it. "Who is that?" "The station manager." "What did you do?" "Nothing." A pause stretched between them. "You always say that when the whole room is already burning," she said. "Amara." "I have to go." "Wait." The music rose again. Someone opened the door near her. "Dad, I saved the chair beside me." Isaiah's breath stopped. "I kept telling them not to move it," she said. "I don't know why." The line filled with a soft rustle. "I'm coming tomorrow," he said. "You said that about tonight." She ended the call. Isaiah stood with the phone at his ear until the screen went black. On the runway, the aircraft accelerated, lifted through the rain, and vanished into low cloud. The pearl comb clicked once more inside the box. A message appeared beneath Amara's name. Priya Nair, I have the full recording. You need to see what happened after you left the cabin. Isaiah opened Priya's message beside the dark window. The video began with Celeste leaning over seat 1A. Her voice was clear above the cabin hum. This would be voluntary. Then came Mark's arrival, the green scanner, Lena's warning, and the blue box striking the floor. Priya's camera never shook. After Isaiah left, it kept recording. Daniel's voice rose from row 2. You removed the man whose ticket your machine approved. Celeste answered. The matter is closed. No, Priya said behind the camera. The door is closed. Isaiah stopped the video. Rain hissed against the glass. His reflection held the velvet box in one hand and the phone in the other. A second file arrived, a printer strip showing his pass accepted at the gate, aircraft door, and cabin. Priya, the junior attendant slipped this to me before departure. Mark emerged from the service room. You still need to sign the incident acknowledgement, he said. I won't sign a false account. It confirms receipt. It says I became hostile. You challenged a direct order. Isaiah touched play. Mark heard his own recorded voice. The reservation may have been issued in error. His face changed. Where did you get that? From a passenger you told not to watch. That recording lacks context. It contains the context. The phone rang. Mara Ellis appeared on the screen. Isaiah walked toward an empty business lounge. Burnt coffee replaced the damp scent from the gate. Mara answered at once. They're asking why the authorization vanished. Keep it frozen. I need a legal basis before the board call. Passenger verification failure. Possible alteration of the incident record. Preserve gate scans, cabin notes, staff messages, and camera footage. Her keyboard began clicking. Are you personally involved? Yes. A beat passed. Where are you? Port Ellis, Gate 18. The Vantage flight? Yes. Were you supposed to be on it? I was in seat 1A. What happened? They removed me to accommodate another passenger. The lounge refrigerator hummed. Isaiah set the velvet box beside his briefcase. One pearl caught the ceiling light. Mara's voice lowered. Did they know who you were? They knew my name. They knew my ticket was valid. That is not what I asked. It is the answer that matters. She exhaled. The agreement is worth $5.2 billion. Freezing it alerts both boards. Send the notice. Now? Now. Isaiah opened the briefcase. Beneath the velvet box lay the final contract packet. He removed the tablet, entered a code, and opened the unsigned final page. Isaiah Bennett, founder, chairman, and controlling shareholder. Orion Mobility, Mara said. Their commercial director is calling me. Do not take it yet. What do you want first? The original gate record. A message flashed from an unknown number. Lena Ortiz. I saved the service note before they changed it. I'm sending everything. Isaiah looked toward Gate 18. Mark was speaking urgently into his phone while Celeste watched through the glass door. The cursor blinked in the empty signature field. Then Mara said, The freeze notice has gone out. At the far end of the concourse, 3 people in executive badges broke into a run. The 3 executive badges flashed under the concourse lights as the group hurried toward Gate 18. Mark lowered his phone. Celeste straightened beside the glass door. The man in front was 58, silver-haired, broad-shouldered, his red tie loosened. Victor Shaw, Vantage Atlantic's commercial director, stopped when he saw Isaiah beside the empty lounge. Mr. Bennett? Isaiah closed the contract page on his tablet. Victor looked from the faded navy sweater to the worn leather briefcase. "We were told you were en route to Chicago." "I was." Mark stepped forward. "Mr. Shaw, there has been a passenger conduct issue." Victor raised one hand. "Not yet." The two people behind him slowed and turned their corporate badges toward their chests. Rain rattled against the windows. A floor polisher whined beyond the closed coffee stand, leaving wax and burnt coffee in the chilled air. Victor approached Isaiah. Mara Ellis froze the authorization. She said there may have been a verification failure. "There was. Your verification. My boarding pass cleared 3 times. Mark cut in. The crew exercised operational discretion. "Was the ticket valid?" Victor asked. Mark glanced at Celeste. "It was under review," she said. "Before or after he occupied the seat?" "After." Isaiah showed him the scanner strip Priya had sent. Victor read the timestamps. "Gate, aircraft door, cabin." Lena appeared at the jet bridge entrance, a narrow receipt curled in her fist. "I saved the original service note," she said. It identified Mr. Bennett as Orion's chairman and requested direct assistance. Mark's face went still. "You were told to return to your station." "I did." Then the note disappeared. Victor took the strip. The paper crackled between his fingers. Celeste whispered, "We never saw his identification." Isaiah answered, "You saw my name. Mr. Bennett, I apologize. We can arrange a private departure within the hour. My daughter's rehearsal has already begun. We can still get you there. Not to the chair she kept empty." Victor looked down. Mark shifted his tablet. This could have been resolved if the passenger accepted the reassignment. Daniel Price and Priya Nair entered from the arriving corridor with a gate agent. "He accepted every rule you actually had," Daniel said. Priya lifted her phone. "And I recorded the rules changing." Isaiah placed the blue velvet box on the lounge counter beside the tablet. Victor looked at the paused contract screen. "What would it take to release the freeze tonight?" "Answer one question first." "All right. If my title had been printed beneath my name, would seat 1A have remained mine?" Victor opened his mouth, then stopped. The refrigerator hummed. Rain moved in silver sheets beyond the glass. No one looked at Mark. Finally, Victor said, "Yes." Isaiah nodded once. "Then the problem is larger than my seat." He asked Mara to keep the agreement frozen and preserve every Gate 18 record. Victor ordered the aircraft logs locked, the service room footage copied, and all involved staff removed from report access. As a compliance officer sealed Mark's tablet in an evidence sleeve, its screen lit with a new alert. Incident report modified. 8:14 p.m. The alert remained on Mark's tablet while the compliance officer sealed it inside a sleeve. "Who changed the report?" Victor asked. Mark answered too quickly. "Routine correction." "At 8:14? Priya said. "After the aircraft left?" A woman in a charcoal coat approached, rein on one shoulder. She was 47, compact, with silver-rimmed glasses and a yellow pad. "Nia Carter, independent aviation compliance investigator. Nobody edits or deletes anything from this point forward." She looked at Isaiah. "Recorded interview?" "Yes." "Counsel?" "Mara is joining remotely." Nia led them into a conference room overlooking the runway. The air smelled of copier heat and carpet. She placed 3 records on the table: gate scanner, aircraft door, cabin manifest. "Mr. Delaney, reason for removal?" "Hostile refusal to follow crew direction." Priya set her phone beside Nia's recorder. "Play mine first." The video filled the wall screen. Celeste's offer of credit, Isaiah's refusal, the green scan, Daniel's challenge, the blue velvet box falling open, No raised voice, no threat, no blocked aisle. When it ended, the projector fan kept spinning. Nia faced Mark. Point to the hostility. Tone is not always captured. Describe the conduct. He was resistant. To what? The reassignment. That is not misconduct. Celeste rubbed her scarf. We were trying to depart on time. Nia turned to Lena. Original service note? Lena handed over the strip. I saved it before the field went blank. Who could alter it? Station management and senior cabin leadership. Nia connected the archive. 3 green timestamps appeared on the wall. Gate, aircraft door, cabin. The room went still enough to hear rain ticking against the glass. 3 confirmations, Nia said. No duplicate seat, no payment issue, no fraud flag. Victor looked at Celeste. Then why was he removed? She swallowed. Mr. Voss expected a functioning suite. Nia wrote on the pad. A commercial preference became a conduct allegation. Mara's voice came through the speaker. Preserve the revision history. A technician entered with a sealed drive. We have it. The audit trail opened. The first report read, Passenger declined voluntary seat change. The later version read, Passenger became hostile and refused crew commands. The editor name appeared beneath it. Mark Delaney. Noah Bell stood in the doorway, pale under fluorescent light. There's more. Mark turned. You were told to leave. Noah raised his phone. I photographed the screen before cancellation. The service room camera recorded him telling you to remove the word hostile. Nia indicated the chair beside Lena. Sit down, Mr. Bell. He did, but kept his coat on. His fingers could not work the top button. Isaiah slid a paper cup toward him, turning the handle away so it would not catch his sleeve. Thank you, Noah whispered. Nia looked around the table. Every witness now speaks without a supervisor present. Victor removed his badge and placed it face down. The 3 green timestamps remained on the wall. Then the technician opened a 4th file, an internal message sent before Isaiah had even been asked to move. Mark had written, Clear 1A for Voss. I'll make the record fit. Mark's message stayed on the wall. Clear 1A for Voss. I'll make the record fit. At 9:06 the next morning, the special committee met in a closed room. Helen Wu, 61, chaired the table. Cold air carried burnt coffee from the corridor. Victor began. Ariane's freeze affects $5.2 billion. Isaiah placed his phone face down. That is not the first loss in this room. What should be first? Helen asked. He opened a photograph Amara had sent after the rehearsal. A blue ribbon chair stood empty beside her. On its seat lay a program bearing his name. My daughter kept that chair for me. Discuss the deal after you discuss why it was empty. The projector fan hummed. Why did you treat Mr. Voss's comfort complaint as more urgent than Mr. Bennett's reservation? Helen asked. We had a delayed departure and an important customer. Which customer was important? Mr. Voss had premium status. So did Mr. Bennett. I did not know who he was. Isaiah said, You knew I was the passenger in 1A. Celeste looked at the photograph. I was trying to keep control of the cabin. By offering him money? At first. And when he declined? People were watching. I had already made the request. You feared losing authority. I feared disorder. Priya's recording played. Isaiah stayed level. Daniel offered his seat, and Lena asked to open the service note. Helen stopped the video. Show me the disorder. Celeste rubbed her badge until the skin beneath it whitened. There wasn't any. Mark shifted. We were under pressure. We had departure metrics and directives to protect premium accounts. Who directed you to falsify a report? No one used that word. Who told you to write hostile? Mark glanced at Victor. The culture was clear. Victor leaned forward. Do not put your sentence in my mouth. Nia set down a transcript. We recovered the service room audio. Mark's voice filled the room. You did not hear this conversation. Then Noah. I heard the scanner confirm him. Then Mark. You want your name in the report? Mark reached for water and missed the glass. Helen asked, Was that pressure from leadership? He said nothing. Nia opened another file. Mark's voice came through the cabin channel before Isaiah had stood. Don't let Ortiz open the note. Clear Bennett, seat Voss, and I'll write the noncompliance. Celeste shut her eyes. You told me the note was unrelated, Lena said. I was following station direction. You told me to close the screen. Celeste removed her badge and placed it on the table. Yes. Helen looked from the photograph to Isaiah. What remedy are you seeking? Not a larger check. Then what? A public finding. Review every complaint closed with hostile, disruptive, or non-compliant when the passenger record says otherwise. Protect employees who challenge a supervisor before the door closes. You are turning one bad call into an indictment of the company. Isaiah picked up the phone. One bad call left a chair empty. Your system decided the chair did not count. Helen closed her folder. Then we review how many other chairs were emptied the same way. Outside, staff were already carrying in 3 boxes of archived complaints. The archive boxes landed on the committee table with a dull thump. Helen Wu opened the first file. Complaint closed. Disruptive passenger. Nia Carter placed the scan record beside it. Ticket valid. No security referral. No witness statement supporting disruption. The second file carried the same phrase. So did the third. By noon, the room smelled of paper dust, cold coffee, and hot electronics. Isaiah sat with folded hands while investigators built a row of folders. Victor Shaw removed his glasses. How many? 47 in 18 months, Nia said. 11 contain altered language after a passenger challenged a seat change. Celeste stared at the stack. Mark kept his chair pushed back. Helen faced him. You are terminated for falsifying a report, suppressing verification data, and pressuring witnesses. You can't reduce my career to one night. The audit reduced it to a pattern. A security administrator collected Mark's badge and tablet. The badge spun once and stopped beside Amara's empty chair photograph. He looked at Isaiah. You ruined me over a seat. Isaiah answered quietly. You wrote the report. Mark was escorted out. Helen turned to Celeste. You are removed from supervisory duty pending discipline and retraining. Celeste untied the silver scarf at her throat. A red line remained beneath it. I thought control meant nobody could question me, she said. By the time I knew I was wrong, everyone was watching. Lena replied, Everyone was watching before that. Celeste met her eyes. Lena did not look down. Victor was suspended from negotiations. He accepted the letter, then asked Isaiah, Would a private settlement restart the agreement? An attorney pushed a folder across the table. The figure inside had 7 zeros. Isaiah did not touch it. You can compensate a delay, he said. You cannot purchase silence about a system that rewards one. The public response could damage thousands of employees. So can hiding what happened. Victor asked, What are you demanding? A published independent report. Reopen comparable complaints. Pay restitution where records were altered. Protect employees who object in real time. Helen added, And no confidentiality clause. The airline counsel whispered to Victor. He shook his head. That exposes us to litigation. Priya said, the exposure already exists. The choice is whether the company admits it. Isaiah's phone vibrated. Amara had sent only the rehearsal photograph. On the empty chair sat the blue ribbon and the program with his name. He turned the phone face down. Helen signed the findings. Her pen scratched across the paper. Public release in 72 hours, she said. The contract remains frozen until the board votes on corrective conditions. Victor looked at Isaiah. And if we accept them? Then we discuss whether trust can be rebuilt. Not whether the money could move. Whether trust could. As the meeting ended, Celeste gathered her scarf but left her badge on the table. Lena picked up one archived complaint and read the first line twice. Beyond the glass wall, workers removed the old customer service sign above Gate 18. In its place, maintenance taped a blank sheet of paper, waiting for new words. 6 weeks later, at 6:45 a.m., maintenance peeled the blank paper from above Gate 18. Jamal Ross, 40, arrived with rolled blueprints and coffee. In rimless glasses, he paused at each doorway as if checking who had been left outside. I'm leading the Independent Passenger Protection Unit, he told Lena and Noah. Station management cannot overrule us. Noah touched the new badge. And if they try? They put it in writing. The terminal smelled of fresh paint, wet concrete, and coffee. Drills echoed while technicians installed a second screen beside the scanner. Isaiah stood nearby in the same faded navy sweater. Victor had offered a private room, but he chose the concourse. Helen Wu opened the revised agreement. The deal resumes in stages. No full release until 3 external audits are passed. Victor frowned. Quarterly audits will slow deployment. Then fix the process quickly, Isaiah said. You're tying billions to gate conduct. I'm tying payment to whether your rules survive contact with a passenger. Jamal unrolled the protocol. One section required a second employee to review any confirmed seat cancellation. Another preserved original report language. A third protected workers who challenged a supervisor. Lena read it twice. No retaliation clause? Page 3, Jamal said. Automatic outside review. She looked toward the jet bridge where Celeste had ordered her back. Noah asked, What happens when someone says there isn't time? Jamal pointed to the screen. The flight waits 90 seconds. A person's record lasts longer. A technician tested the scanner. Green light washed over the counter, followed by a clear chime. Helen handed Isaiah a pen. Approve the first stage. After the public dashboard is live. Victor checked his watch. That was not in yesterday's draft. It is now. Helen turned to counsel. Add it. By noon, the board had accepted independent complaint review, publication of overturned removals, restitution for altered records, and training built from actual cases. Victor signed last. This will be expensive, he said. Isaiah capped the pen. So was pretending nothing was wrong. At Gate 18, Lena and Noah mounted a one-page rule above the scanner. Plain white paper. One sentence appeared in bold. A green confirmation cannot be canceled by assumption. Passengers lined up for an afternoon flight. A woman adjusted her coat. A businessman rolled a suitcase over the tile. None knew why the rule was there. An older employee approached with a tablet. Passenger in 3C doesn't match the profile note. Should I hold him? Lena checked the screen. What does the ticket say? Confirmed. Then scan it. The machine chimed green. Welcome aboard, Noah said. Jamal watched from the new help desk. He wrote the time in a logbook and underlined it once. Isaiah's phone vibrated. Amara. Wedding morning. 8 o'clock. Please don't make me save the chair again. He read it twice. Victor approached. The company car can take you? No. Private flight? No. Isaiah lifted the worn briefcase. Inside, the pearl comb rested in its blue velvet box. He looked once at the rule, then walked toward the departure doors, where morning light gathered beyond the rain. At 7:58 on the wedding morning, Isaiah stepped into Amara's suite, carrying the worn leather briefcase. She stood before the mirror in a silk robe, while two friends pinned the last fold of her veil. Morning light touched the empty memorial chair near the window, the same blue ribbon tied across its back. "You came," Amara said. "I said I would. You've said that before." Isaiah nodded and set the briefcase on the vanity. He did not offer an excuse. The room smelled of hairspray, coffee, and the white roses arranged beside Evelyn's photograph. "May I?" he asked. Amara dismissed her friends with a glance. When the door closed, Isaiah opened the blue velvet box. The pearl comb rested inside, no longer trembling in his hand. "Your mother wore this when she married me," he said. "She made me promise it would be yours." Amara touched one pearl. "Did she make you promise to be late too?" "No." The answer was quiet enough that she looked at him. He stepped behind her and fixed the comb above the veil. His fingers moved carefully through her hair. In the mirror, the pearls caught the light over the empty chair. "One gesture doesn't repair everything," he said. "I know." "I'm not asking it to." Amara turned. For a second, neither moved. Then she straightened the collar of his dark suit. "Sit in the front row," she said, "and keep your phone off." He switched it off in front of her. 3 months later, the airline released its independent report. 47 complaints were reopened. 11 passengers received corrected records and compensation after investigators confirmed that staff had changed or exaggerated incident language. Mark Delaney's dismissal remained final. He appealed, then withdrew when the audit trail and service room audio were entered into the record. Celeste Rowan completed disciplinary review and returned only in a non-supervisory training role. On her first day, she played Priya's cabin video for a room of new attendants and stopped it before the velvet box hit the floor. "This is where I could still have chosen differently," she said. Victor Shaw returned to negotiations after the board removed his authority to override compliance findings. Helen Wu kept the external audits public. Jamal Ross expanded the passenger protection desk to 12 airports. Noah Bell became its first regional coordinator, and Lena Ortiz helped write the rule requiring a second review before any confirmed passenger could be removed for a commercial preference. Priya sent Isaiah the final report without commentary. Daniel mailed a handwritten note. "I offered a seat too late, but I won't stay seated next time." At the first quarterly audit, Isaiah stood again at gate 18. The scanner gave its clean green chime. Above it, the rule remained in plain black letters. A young employee checked his ticket, then his face. Recognition flickered, but she only smiled. "Seat 1A, Mr. Bennett. Welcome aboard." "That's all I needed the first time," he said. He placed the briefcase beneath the seat ahead. The velvet box was no longer inside. Amara had carried it down the aisle on her wedding day. Before takeoff, she sent him a photograph. The pearl comb rested in her hair, and the chair beside her was filled. Isaiah turned off the screen as rain began tapping softly against the window. This time, no seat was empty. Have you ever seen someone's dignity ignored because others judged their clothes, status, or appearance before checking the facts? Share what happened in the comments, especially if one quiet witness or one preserved record changed the outcome. Send this story to someone who believes respect should never depend on a title, a premium seat, or the amount of money behind a name. Subscribe for more stories about justice, quiet resilience, and the difficult work of changing systems after the truth comes out. These stories are not only about consequences, they are about the people who speak up, the workers who refuse to alter the record, and the individuals who remain steady when a room has already decided who they are.